Hello everyone, welcome back to Naomi's Bookshelf. We are going to do round 2 of my Bookoplathon TBR. I finished everything, so we're gonna jump into new prompts. So as I have finished all but one of the prompts, I did switch out a couple books, not gonna lie, but as I did finish all but one of those prompts, I'm going to move on to another round of Becca's Bookoplathon. I had a lot of fun with it for the first part, so we're gonna go into the first prompt for the second half of the month. So for roll number 1, we have 4, which puts us on 1. A chance card. I don't really want that. Oh, it's a good one though. Home Before Dark by Riley Sagar. So as you saw, that was Home Before Dark by Riley Sagar. I started this, I think I'm like, how many pages? Looking at the wrong side. I don't even know how many pages I'm like 30 pages in. I think I put the dust jacket on wrong. Anyways, as I was saying, I'm 30 pages in and I was really loving it in August, but I just didn't prioritize it, and then I hit that slump, which I talked about last video. So I never really finished it, obviously. So this is gonna be a really exciting one for me to pick up. I already enjoyed the spooky aspect of it and how it's told in 2 perspectives. One being the girl, the woman who's going back to her home, her childhood home, and having to experience it all. And then the book that her father wrote about their experience in that home, which is super creepy already. So I'm excited to continue this one. Everyone either loves it or really likes it. I haven't heard anyone hate it yet, so I'm hoping to love it too. Roll number 2 is a 3. 1, 2, 3. So the next prompt was TBR game, as you saw, and I decided to go a bit of a different route. I did not do the color wheel this time, but I'm gonna do M&M's chooses my TBR game. So I have her chart here and I'm gonna pop it up here. This is from Current Chapter, and I have loved a couple of her videos that I've seen since finding her channel. And we're gonna pick out 2 M&Ms and see what colors will cross and intersect. So the first one is a green, and the second one is a blue. Let's figure out what that one is. So the green and the blue come up to M&M color. Now, I haven't seen this one come up on her TBRs, but I'm gonna assume I pick a color out of the M&Ms, and then whatever color that is has to be on the top of a book. So it's basically a color wheel. We're gonna go for it. All right, let's see what color we get. Not looking. Blue. Sounds good, let's take a look. So I'm gonna go with a library book here, and that is 3,096 Days. I always want to say 3,900, but 3,096 Days in Captivity by Natasha Kampusch. So on her dress, or not her shirt, I think it's blue, I think you can tell. It's blue. And so this is a short memoir about her being kidnapped for 10 years as a 10-year-old, or almost 10 years. It's gonna be heavy hitting, but I do really want to read it, and it's something that I'm always interested in how these people survive. Like, that's something the survival level of this book or these stories I always want to know. So I'm excited to pick this one up, even though it's going to be really hard hitting topics. Roll number 4 is a 6. Turn that around for you. So 1, 2, a middle grade. So the next prompt was a middle grade, so I'm gonna go with The Parker Inheritance by Varian Johnson. This is a Black author, so it's own voices, and it's with these 2 Black children in Georgia, I believe, in a small town where they are trying to discover an inheritance of money through clues and ciphers and whatnot. I am about a third of the way through. I just put it down and I never picked it back up again with that whole slump thing. But I have a library copy and I want to finish it before it has to go back. So it's good to have a middle grade pop up in this, so I'm forced to pick up the books I'm enjoying and actually read them. Roll number 4. Ugh. It's a double, so double choose, which is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Becca Wreck. So the next one was Becca Wreck, which the struggle is that I love watching Becca's videos, but we don't read the same books. And so some of her books that she would recommend, I have no interest in. But I found Rebecca, which this is a really banged up old copy, Rebecca on her favorites list. Now, I've always wanted to annotate a book. I've always wanted to, but I've always been too scared to mess up a book. I'm such a perfectionist. But this book was clearly left unattended with a child with markers. So I picked up this $2 copy, and I'm gonna hopefully annotate it and really enjoy it. There is a Rebecca read-along in preparation for the new movie that's coming out, and the read-along is being hosted by Earl Grey Books. So I will link her down below along with Becca and everything. Everyone else I talk about. But yeah, so I hope to read Rebecca for the first time. I know the twist, but I'm excited to read it physically and hopefully annotate it. Roll number 5. Oh goodness. Double 4. It's a sequel. So the next one was sequel. And that's something that I definitely did not have any plans of reading this month. None of the books I wanted to read are sequels. But I have something that's a high priority for me, and it's a short one, and it's an author I know I love, which is Emily of Deep Valley, which is technically book 2 in the Deep Valley series, which is like a spin-off of Betsy Tacy series. And both of these series are by Maud Hart Lovelace. I read the last couple for middle grade magic, and I'm excited to pick up this one. This one's decidedly more young adult to my knowledge, but I think it's gonna be great. I don't know anything about it. I just know I love Maud Hart Lovelace, and it's a sequel, so perfect. Now for the doubles. 7. I'm just getting these corners. A 5-star prediction. The next one that I landed on was a 5-star prediction. Now, one book that I expect to love and adore and rave about is The Huntress by Kate Quinn. I don't know anything deep about this. I know it's about a girl who survives a Russian assassin in World War II, I believe. That's the extent of my knowledge. And there's like a big manhunt to find this Russian assassin for war crimes and stuff during World War II. I don't know. I did have another copy of it, but my library had this one, so I took it out and I shared my copy with my book club. So I'm excited to read this. I expect to love it and praise it as much as I did the Alice Network. So this is definitely a 5-star prediction. Hopefully last roll. And that is, so it's a 5. Ooh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Friend pick. So the last roll, thank goodness, was a friend pick. Now my friend and I do a buddy read every month, and she told me that she really wanted to read this book in September. And so I said, why not? She technically picked it for me before this ever came about, and that would be Julie by Catherine Marshall. I don't know anything about this. All I know is it's about a natural disaster, like a flood, and I think it's Christian historical fiction. Like, that's all I know. But my friend loves it and adores it, so I'm hoping it'll be a really great reading time. I thought, based on her recommendation, I should buy a physical copy. So I went all out and bought a new one, which is super shiny. But yeah, it's a gorgeous cover too, actually. I really like that cover. I don't normally like people on the cover in that way, but it's actually not a bad cover. So I'm excited to pick up Julie and find out what it's all about. So that is the end of the Bookoplathon TBR for the second half of the month, if you want to call it that. So these are the books I'll be reading in the last 2 to 3 weeks of the month. It might get busy in life, but we're gonna try, do our best to do more. Now I'm gonna go into the books I have read so far in September, so if you wanna sign off here, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in another video if you'd like to subscribe. If not, let's move on to my wrap up for the first half. So the first prompt I landed on previously was the TBR game, which I did the wheel color, which was yellow. Now, I did not read A Study in Murder for that. I did read The Girls' Weekend, which has yellow writing on it, or yellow title. So this one is an arc that I received, and it came out, I think, in June, but I never got to it. And it follows 5 women as they go to one of the women's homes for a girls' weekend, as the title suggests. But something happens there. They all have these secrets and heavy burdens that they carry, and all these different levels of their friendship, which are really twisted in some ways. And so something goes wrong with their relationships and one of them goes missing. And that's the premise. So as it follows these 4 women plus the one who went missing, their stories, I did enjoy the closed mystery aspect. There's a very few people who can be considered suspects, and they all have some sort of stake in what's going on. And then you have the police coming in to look, but they are not a main part of the story. The main part of the story is the people who are left trying to figure out what happened. I did really enjoy that. I also enjoyed how all the characters felt different and unique, and I could really tell that they were different people. I didn't like the social drama aspect of it. I am not someone who enjoys, I don't know, soap operas. I'm not someone who enjoys that at all. And I will watch a couple episodes and maybe I'll even watch like 8 to 10 and then I'll be like, okay, done. Give me something new. I want to change, like you all know what's gonna happen with this situation. And that's not the case. So disappointing as it was, that part let me down. I also didn't really love the main twist, maybe, shall we say. It was good mystery, but it's not the best thing I've ever read. So I recommend it if you're into that kind of catty drama, but that's not my thing. So it was not as perfect for me. Highly recommend it though for that particular audience, and I gave it 3 stars for my personal enjoyment. So the next one that I landed on was Community Chest, or Community Shelf, which I have not finished that book. I am reading Middlemarch with Victoria from A Musical Bookworm. We will be done it by the end of September, but we are buddy reading it, so I'm not gonna fly through it. I'm trying to find where I was on the board without having it written down. It's very smart of me. Anyways, the next one was Water on the Cover, so I read Miriam by Mesu Andrews. Loved, adored, 5 stars. I love that series. It's 2 books long, but I love it. I don't know if there's any more books in the series, but I'm definitely gonna check them out, or anything else by Mesu Andrews, to be honest. Miriam was such an interesting one because it followed Miriam as she's in Goshen, and they are very poor. They're, slaves, and she's administering to all these people, but she's also the first prophetess. And so that was really cool to see that aspect of God with her. But then as she starts to lose touch with that, or that God doesn't speak to her anymore that way, and how she had to deal with that. And then the other aspect, the other point of view that we see from is her nephew. Now, her nephew, Eliezer, I want to say, names aren't sticking with me lately, but he works in the palace. He is about 45, I think they said he was, and he is never married, and he is very stoic, and he is like the chief guard to the second firstborn. So the second wife's firstborn son. So he is top dog, top protector of this prince. And so he gets the insider's look whenever Moses and Aaron come to see Pharaoh and how they deal with that. So it's fun to see both sides. I really loved where it went, the different storylines. And also I've been on a bit of an Egypt kick, and it was just so cool to see that come to life in such a real way in my head. So all the props to Mesu Andrews. I loved it. Check it out. But first check out The Pharaoh's Daughter, because it does spoil the events for The Pharaoh's Daughter, like most sequels do. So the next thing that I had to read was Taken at the Flood by Agatha Christie. Now this one I have mixed feelings about, to be honest. This is a Hercule Poirot mystery, but he's gone for about half of it. And that is troublesome for me. I'm not really sure how I feel about that, to be honest. I've never been quiet about my dislike for Hercule Poirot as a person, but I missed him. So, I don't know. Maybe I don't like him with Hastings. That maybe is the result. But this one follows a group of people, and this county town. Basically, they all were making money, but they were never making enough because they were financially supported by a dear uncle who, on his way from South America on a boat, met this lovely young lady and married her. Now the problem comes in that, first of all, she was married to another man, I believe in Africa it said, and then they kind of separated, but they didn't divorce. And then he died by high fever, she was told, and then she remarried. But then the question is, did he actually die, the first husband? Because when they get back to London and a bomb raid happens, he dies, and suddenly the question is, well, she gets the money, but was he the first one? Like, was he actually married to her? Was she actually available to be married to him? So that's the whole premise of it. And then there's murder, there's normal drama stuff, which I do enjoy normally in Agatha Christie, but this felt a bit slow, even for me. So I didn't really love that aspect. And then, like I said, for some reason, Poirot not being there just felt the mystery was just dragging for no reason. I did enjoy the characters, but I also kind of felt like it was rushed at the end, and I didn't love that ending, to be honest. The personal relationship ending, didn't love. So I'm giving it a 3-star. It's a bit disappointing, but I didn't know what to expect going in either. And now I have confusing feelings about Hercule Poirot. The other book that I had to read for that prompt for the most recent purchase one was Norse Mythology by Neil Gaiman, which this one was a surprise. I really enjoyed this one. I really enjoyed seeing the different Norse gods and the different Norse stories, mythology aspects. I loved seeing the relationships and how those different stories came about. I truly enjoyed this book. There are some things where it was, I don't know, it just kind of, maybe it's Neil Gaiman's writing style where I'm like, I gave it a 4 because I just didn't feel super connected, but I did really, really enjoy this one, which was a nice surprise. However, I don't know if I'm gonna like him in any of his books that he comes up with his own story, because this is Norse mythology. So he comes up, he's rewritten these myths essentially, or written them down in his own words. So I recommend this, but I'm also not sure for me if I'm going to read more from his own created work. We'll see in the future, but for now I'm undecided about Neil Gaiman still, which is not a great place to be, and I wish I could have more decisions made, to be honest. But yeah, I recommend this one a lot, and like I said, 4 stars. So the last prompt that I had to complete was a small book or a short book, which was under 300 pages. Now I did have Agnes Grey in this spot, but I chose to switch it out as I have not yet finished Agnes Grey, and I really wanted to do a halfway through the month thing. But I did read Secrets She Knew by D.L. Woods, which is 230 pages. And this one is following a small town, Midwest, where this girl, when she was 15 years old, discovered a body discovered a murdered girl, one of her classmates, and she is haunted by it. Maybe that's the word. She's always haunted by this girl who she knew as a classmate. And so one day, 13 years later, when she's 28 years old, she goes back to her hometown to pack up her parents' things as they have passed away. And she's a police officer, so then when she goes back, she kind of needs to settle these ghosts. She needs to put these ghosts to rest and like figure out what happened to this girl, especially since they caught someone, but she doesn't think they did it. She's never believed that that man killed her friend or her classmate. So I thought it was really good. I gave it 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. I loved the ending. I loved the relationships, the friendships, so great. I think it was just a little, in some ways I could see where it was going, but I was also really happy with where it was at, and I really appreciated this book. And I do know that this author, she has a bunch of books on Kindle Unlimited, or her books are on Kindle Unlimited. So please go check her out. Super fast read, super fun, and I want to read more from her books as well. It was just such a jump start into reading, honestly. I knew I missed one. I missed sequel. Anyways, I read The Hound of the Baskervilles by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Now this one was great. I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. I love seeing Watson be his own detective. Sherlock Holmes is always a great mystery to read, and I really enjoyed this one with the depth of characters and the plot pacing and everything like that. I did read it with Berna from Berna's Bookish Adventures, so go check her out. And I am excited to continue reading the series. I think we have 1 left, which is a little sad, but it's gonna be nice to round off Sherlock Holmes. So those are the books that I plan to read. Those are the books imaginary books, and these 2 books that I have read so far. Please let me know down in the comments if you have read any of these books and what your thoughts are. Please also let me know if I should do Bookopoly again in the future for a TBR game, because I've really enjoyed using this board and I just wanted to do it again. So I might do it again for another month of picking prompts. Who knows? Let me know down in the comments what you think I should do. If you liked this video, please give it a big thumbs up. And also, if you are new here, please subscribe if you'd like to see more content from me. I will see you next week with another video. Bye for now.